Dr. Mike's 320,000 Lambo was taken for a joyride by a New York City garage attendant, according to cops. So, a Manhattan physician, once dubbed the sexiest doctor alive, had his Lamborghini swiped by a parking garage employee who then took the hot rod on a 5 hour joyride, according to paperwork obtained by the Post. Now, just think about that, right? So, this guy is an actual doctor who helps people, who's also a very well known YouTuber, and he had his $320,000 Lamborghini stolen. Which, by the way, he just recently won his fight against iDubbbz, I believe, in that weird boxing match where I believe he actually destroyed iDubbbz in that fight, all to raise money for charity. So you have someone who tries his best to be a good guy, literally getting something that he worked hard for stolen from him just because someone wanted to take it for a joyride. Okay? Like, this is so wrong on so many levels, right? Because, like, think about you saving up for, like, a house that you just bought, and then someone ends up going into that house, using that house when you're not there, and messing it up, potentially. Like, it's such an invasion of privacy. It's so disrespectful, right? And it's super illegal. Like, you can't do this stuff, right? And not only that, you gotta think about it too. Imagine if he stole this Lambo and crashed it, okay? The person would probably be going to prison for a very long time because there's no way that he could pay it. So the next morning, his building security staff notified him that a garage employee had taken his car around 1 a.m. without the doc's permission in a gross deviation of his duties, the police paperwork says. I wouldn't say a gross deviation, I would say an illegal act because he stole a $320,000 Lambo. So, video reviewed by security showed the attendant driving away from the garage in the black 2021 Lambo with the vanity plate Dr. M1KE, according to cops. The garage discovered the theft when other people went to pick up their cars early in the morning, and the attendant was nowhere to be found, a source with knowledge of the incident said. The reason that they caught him was because other people came to get their cars and there was no one there, the source said. So security had to go through the footage to find out where he went, and then they waited for him to return a few hours later. The NYPD did license plate checks and found the Lambo had traveled all over New York City, the source said, lighting up readers in Staten Island, on the Verrazzo Narrows Bridge, and the Williamsburg Bridge. The attendant returned the car at around 5 or 6 a.m., about 5 hours after he took it. Security called Dr. Mike a few hours later, the source said. There have been no arrests in the case, an NYPD spokesman said Tuesday, and Varzhovsky, who was named People's Magazine's Sexiest Doctor Alive of 2015, posted photos of his matte black Lambo with neon green trim on Instagram in September last year. He boasts 4.4 million followers. Welcome the new member of the family, he wrote in the post. P.S. Never let anyone squash your dreams or knock your hustle. The doctor, who works in family medicine at Atlantic Health System's Overlook Medical Center, competed on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in 2016 and also once saved a passenger on a commercial flight, and he won a charity amateur boxing match in Tampa's Yuengling Center, raising over $100,000 for Ukraine, and reached by phone Tuesday about the car theft. He said, no comment. But again, just think about this for a second, right? Imagine working hard for something that you really love or you really like, that's something that you really enjoy, that you had like a goal in your life that you've always wanted to achieve. And then someone takes the thing that you worked hard for to have fun with it without your knowledge, without your permission. Because here's the thing, it'd be completely different if, like, let's say Dr. Mike were to have offered a random person, like, hey, you want to take my car for a joyride? Go ahead, right? But for someone to illegally steal his $320,000 Lamborghini, it's just wrong, right? Because here's the thing, I don't know if he paid cash for it. He could have paid cash, he could have gotten a loan for it. There's could have been a lot of different types of financing. He could have leased it, whatever, right? But the reality is, what would have happened if the individual who stole his car crashed that vehicle? Or crashed that vehicle and caused a crime with that vehicle as well? Or, worse yet, committed a crime using the vehicle. And what I mean by that is like literally where they use the car as maybe like a getaway car or something like that, right? Like there's so many bad things that could happen. This is such a lack of judgment that this one garage attendant individual had, and he could be facing some serious punishment for something like this, right? Because you got to think about it for a second. This isn't like stealing like a $100 item or like stealing a candy bar, okay? You literally stole something that is as expensive as a house, a condo. Like, the amount of money that was potentially stolen, well, not potentially, was actually stolen in this fashion is some serious stuff, right? Like, there are some serious crimes related to this sort of action. And here's the thing, and no matter what Dr. Mike decides to do, right, it's not going to be good, right? Because what he should do is definitely press charges against the person because they literally stole his car. But if he does that, some of his fans might go absolutely ballistic, like, oh, you're so rich, you shouldn't, go after this guy who just wanted to have fun for, like, with your car and whatnot, because there's always people like that. It's just so wrong, and honestly really sad. Because, like, it's sad to see someone who works really hard get completely screwed over by a completely random person, right? Where, like, it doesn't even make sense. Because you gotta think about it too. This garage attendant, this garage worker, thought he could probably get away with it for some reason. Like, I don't get what was going through his mind thinking that this was an okay thing to do. To literally steal basically a house on wheels.